So we have the priest cards. I'm upset. We start off today with Raza the Sealed. 5 mana 5/5 battle cry. For the rest of the game, your hero power refreshes whenever you play a card. So this just completely obsoletes Death Knight Anduin. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, this completely obsoletes that card in every conceivable way. You're only ever going to be playing Shadow Reno Priest from now until who knows how long. Like, it's very unlikely they're going to print powerful enough holy spells or holy spell payoffs to make up for the 2 damage hero power, because dealing 2 damage is a lot better than healing 2 damage. It's just much more flexible and it's just stronger for 2 mana. Anyway, this card, obviously, incredible card. It makes people want to play like aggro Shadow Priest with this card. So you can slow down the deck a little more. It's still going to have its insane pop-offs, but relatively speaking is going to be better as a deck because you have much more late game potential. And like, yeah, you have a 5/5 brick, but that's kind of the only issue, right? Shadow Priest can already kill you on like turn 3 with a high roll, and its low rolls are really, really significant. So this lowers the low roll chance uh, in those games. And then, of course, Tempo Reno Priest loves this card. They can win the game much earlier, much cheaper. It's just a really good card, this one for sure. Tempo Reno Priest has been a little mediocre recently. It's the best way to play Reno Priest, but because you haven't played Reno Priest as like a control combo deck in forever, it's just been not the way to play it. Anyway, this is a great card. I'm looking forward to playing it, but it's definitely really upsetting as a Hunter player. Repackage 7 mana, stuff all minions into a 2-cost box, then shuffle it into your opponent's deck. It is Psychic Scream, but arguably worse. Drawing really bad minions is a good thing. Yes, they have to pay the 2 mana tax to get their minions, but they only have to draw it once. So, yeah, it's kind of just not as good as Psychic Scream. Of course, AoE hard removal with no like damage requirement or no death rattles is really strong. So this card probably sees play in standard, wild, no shadow tag, so it definitely does not see play. Chalk Artist, 4 mana 4/3. Battle Cry, draw a minion, transform into a random legendary. 1. Keeping its original stats and cost. This is a card. I don't think it sees any play in Wild, but it's not because it's like, how do I put this? If control deck or like a control priest was playable, or not a control priest, a mid-range priest, I guess I should call it, was playable, this would be a pretty decent card in that. You can draw your mediocre 1s or 2s by the time you're that late in the game, and upgrade them into usable minions. Of course, a mid-range priest will never exist, but if this were not a priest card, it would be decent in a lot of other classes. It's a little upsetting seeing a card that is actually pretty strong, but is stuck in a class that can't use it exist like this. Careless Crafter, 3 mana 3/3, Death Rattle, get 2 0-cost bandages that restore 3 health. This is actually a useful card. There are like heal damage OTK priest deck that love this card. It's actually a very strong card. I think it will see play. Of course, that deck is very niche. It's not consistent, really. It's not a good deck, but this will slot in the deck. This is a lot of damage for 0 mana. It's 6 damage. And if they have any... Actually, no, spell damage doesn't work on cards like this. Sorry, I don't know why I was thinking that. But it's still just a really powerful card. I think it will see play in like heal damage breeze. Oops. Papercraft Angel, 3 mana 2/5. Your hero power costs 0. This might have seen play. Actually, does this currently see play in Reno Priest? I think it does, now that I think about it. 3 mana 2/5 is a good stat line. And then it makes your hero power cost 0. So this is effectively 3 mana, 2/5, deal 2 damage to a minion, for tempo. It's actually not the worst card in the world now that I consider it. You probably do play this in Tempo Arena Priest. Looking at what we have, it's a good bumping body. It helps you fight for board. It's actually a pretty decent minion. Yeah, this card might actually see play. Genuinely speaking. That's really interesting. Clay Matriarch. 6 mana, 3/7, dragon, miniaturize. Taunt, Death Rattle. Summon a 4/4 whelp with elusive. And then here's the mini and the whelp. This card doesn't see any play in Wild. It's way too slow. It's not. If it were a double taunt, maybe it would actually be pretty decent, but it just doesn't do anything, actually. There's no reason to play it over things like Cartooth Defender. Cartooth Defender heals you, so it's just better into aggro. Cards like this don't matter, because it's too slow into aggro, and it doesn't heal you as much as that card. This is 7 health. Cartooth Defender is 11 health. Yeah, because it heals you, is what I'm saying. So this card just doesn't really do anything. And then to play this in, this is like a card that like doesn't even help you in slower matchups, really. Like, it's just not a playable card. Fly Off the Shelves. 4 mana, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Repeat for each dragon you're holding. And I guess these are all the dragons in Standard. They put Sorry, I just didn't realize they put that in the core set. Holy crap. Anyway, this card doesn't really see any play in Wild. The only deck you would play this in is a dedicated Dragon Priest, and dedicated Dragon Priest will always be the worst way to play Dragon Priest. You can play Shadow Dragon Priest, which is going to be pretty strong next expansion, based on the legendary that I'm saving for last, and then you can play like Soul of Dragon Soul, I think it's called. Dragon Soul Miracle Priest. That is definitely going to be a deck people are experimenting next expansion. Will it be better than regular Miracle Priest? Actually, arguably. It might be a little less consistent, but if you can get the combo turn off, you always win, is the thing. That's very powerful. Very, very powerful to always win on your combo turn. So, like, because you can deal upwards of 40, 50 damage guaranteed on your combo turn based on, like, building a giant board of 5/5s, you can then buff and Divine Spirit and Inner Fire them and make a gigantic minion that your opponent literally can't do anything about after it's made. It's just very strong. And this card doesn't fit into that deck. It's too expensive. So I should have talked about that with the new card, and that's a little upsetting. I'll do more. Scale Replica. 2 mana, draw your lowest cost and highest cost dragon. Like I'm saying, you don't play a dedicated Dragon Priest, so I don't think you run this card. It's just not really worth it. It doesn't have the Shadow tag. If it did, this would be incredible. If this had the Shadow tag, it would be a broken card, actually. It would, like, actually be a broken card. Holy dude. How do they know? Anyway, this card sees no play. Purifying Power. 2 mana. Silence all friendly minions, then give them +1/+2. Okay. This card individually is incredibly powerful. 2 mana, give all minions +1/+2 is pretty good. It's actually incredible. It's one of the best buff spells ever, I would say. And all this does is silence your minions to do that. You might be saying, oh, isn't silencing your minions bad? Well, when your minions are a 1 mana 4/3, like, I don't know, like 2 mana 5/6, something like that. You know, minions that are gigantic, they're like, they have +1/+1 or +1/+2, +2/+2 over base stats. This is an incredible card. Or they have downsides, like you have a 4 mana 7/7 that does something bad, you know, stuff like that. This card is insane as a buff card. The silencing doesn't do anything. Obviously, it's a holy spell, so you never run it in, like, not, shadow decks, but that doesn't matter. It's just an incredibly powerful card. This will see play. I guarantee it. Sorry, let me rephrase. See play in those decks. However, I don't think those decks are very good. I should have clarified that. Anyway, yeah. And lastly, we have Time Winder Zarimi. 5 mana, 4/6 dragon. Battle Cry. Once per game, if you've summoned 5 other dragons, take an extra turn. This card is a win condition. You play towards it, and then just like how Loatheb shuts down, removal for your big board, or it can also shut down a turn of combo, but that's neither here nor there. This card does that, but it also negates minions. It negates weapons. It negates hero cards. It negates everything, locations, because your opponent can't take their turn. So what you can do is you can play a Shadow Priest using already in the deck dragons like Churjin and other powerful dragon cards that are really good early game. You have the new 1/1 that came out. Of course, you have Churjin, like I mentioned. You can run Mistake, which is decent body, things like that. And then you treat this like a Loatheb that if you have lethal over 2 turns, you win the game instantly. It's an incredibly powerful card. The issue is that's not the only thing that is great about this card. I don't like this card because of what it implies for the future of Hearthstone, but right now it's okay, I guess. Again, it's doing that Loatheb thing. It's making it so you automatically win the game. Of course, not only against spell decks. You automatically win the game if you build a Radiant Elemental board. You draw your whole deck. You buff, a big Radiant, all that. But the issue is not the issue. The good thing is you have Dragon Soul. Dragon Soul is finally going to be a seemingly playable card. It might not be amazing right this expansion. It just might not. But you build an entire board of 5/5s. You use the Light It Burns to kill either a 5/5 or a Radiant, depending on the size of the Radiant. And then you obviously you gain mana back from what's it called? From Funnel Cake, so you can get up to 5 mana. You can technically do it on 4 if you have the coin, so you get to 4 because it's Funnel Cake is refreshed, so you coin this out, and you just have like 30 something or for more 40, 50 sometimes 60 damage just on board. And your opponent can't do anything about it. Usually, if they make a giant board like that, you can play Dreadscale Bloom, you can play Barov Astalor, you can play Equality Consecrate, you can play what's it called? You can play the Murloc that turns mana into damage, and Gigafin. You can play Flurgle Tox. You can Charter the Naru. You can you can Zephyrus Holy Nova. You can do so many things. You can do so many things. So many ways to beat that deck, and the deck is still that strong. It's a little weird. Anyway, yeah, you can prevent all that with this card. This is an incredibly, incredibly powerful card. It will see play. If not now, next expansion. If not next expansion, eventually. This is just insane effect. Sorry for going on a weird rant, but I don't know. I love this. This is probably one of the coolest presets ever, but I hate it. I hate it so much. Anyway, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. What do you think in the comments below? I think I'm pretty accurate on most of these cards, genuinely speaking. It's usually easy to spot really good cards and really bad cards. And I think a lot of these cards are really good. Anyway, peace.